Fear is a natural part of being human, yet many people allow it to control their choices, limit their potential, and shape the direction of their lives. Every day, individuals face moments of hesitation, whether it is speaking up in a conversation, trying a new opportunity, or stepping outside of a familiar routine. These small moments of doubt may seem insignificant at first, but over time, they can quietly build a pattern of avoidance that keeps a person from experiencing growth and fulfillment. The journey from fear to confidence does not happen in a single dramatic moment. Instead, it develops through consistent, deliberate effort. When a person chooses to confront small challenges rather than avoid them, they begin to train their mind to see fear differently. Instead of viewing fear as a signal to retreat, it becomes a reminder that growth is possible on the other side of discomfort. This perspective is closely aligned with ideas inspired by the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, who often emphasized that the subconscious mind responds to the beliefs and repeated thoughts we feed it every day. When someone repeatedly tells themselves that they are capable, resilient, and willing to learn from experience, the mind gradually accepts those beliefs as truth. Over time, that inner shift begins to influence behavior in powerful ways. A person who once hesitated may begin to take small steps forward, raising a hand to share an idea, introducing themselves to someone new, or pursuing a goal they once believed was beyond their reach. Each small action acts like a brick in the foundation of confidence, strengthening the belief that fear does not have to determine the outcome of a situation. What makes this process especially powerful is its simplicity. Courage does not require a grand transformation overnight. It grows through ordinary moments of choice. Every time someone chooses action over avoidance, they prove to themselves that progress is possible. Inspired by principles associated with Dr. Joseph Murphy's philosophy, many people learn that the mind responds strongly to repetition and consistency. When positive thoughts are combined with small, purposeful actions, the subconscious mind begins to support rather than resist personal growth. This is why daily habits play such an important role in overcoming doubt. Simple practices, such as reminding yourself of your abilities, visualizing success, or completing one task that once felt uncomfortable, can gradually reshape how you respond to challenges. Over days and weeks, these actions accumulate, creating a noticeable shift in attitude and confidence. Instead of feeling trapped by uncertainty, a person begins to see challenges as opportunities to learn and strengthen their character. The transformation from fearful to fearless is not about eliminating fear entirely. It is about developing the willingness to move forward even when fear is present. With patience, persistence, and belief in one's own potential, the cycle of doubt can be replaced with a steady path toward courage and self-confidence. Fear often grows stronger in silence, especially when a person repeatedly avoids the situations that cause discomfort. The mind begins to associate avoidance with safety, and over time this habit can quietly limit a person's world. However, when someone decides to challenge that pattern, even in the smallest ways, the mind begins to learn a different lesson. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. This understanding becomes powerful when applied consistently in everyday life. Many people imagine that confidence comes only after success, but in reality confidence is usually built through action first. Each time a person faces a small challenge, making a difficult phone call, sharing an opinion in a group, or trying something unfamiliar, they gather evidence that they are stronger than their doubts. These experiences slowly reshape the internal dialogue that once repeated words like, "I can't," or "I'm not ready." Inspired by ideas associated with Dr. Joseph Murphy, it becomes clear that the subconscious mind absorbs repeated messages and turns them into beliefs. When those messages are filled with encouragement, determination, and possibility, the mind begins to align with those thoughts. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, a person starts to imagine what could go right. This shift may appear subtle at first, but it has a powerful influence on behavior. A person who once hesitated might take a small step forward, then another, and then another. Each action reinforces the belief that progress is possible. The important part of this process is consistency. Grand gestures are not required. What matters most is the daily choice to take one step beyond the comfort zone. Over time, these repeated actions create a new pattern in the mind. The once intimidating situations begin to feel manageable, and the fear that once felt overwhelming becomes smaller and less controlling. According to principles often discussed in connection with Dr. Joseph Murphy's teachings, the subconscious mind does not easily distinguish between imagined experience and repeated belief. When individuals consistently visualize themselves acting with courage and then follow that visualization with real action, the mind begins to accept courage as a natural state. This is why simple daily practices can have such a lasting impact. Speaking positive affirmations, imagining successful outcomes, and intentionally placing yourself in situations that encourage growth all contribute to a gradual transformation. The journey may not always feel comfortable, but every step forward adds strength to a person's character. With time, the once unfamiliar feeling of courage becomes part of everyday life. The individual who once felt controlled by doubt begins to see themselves as capable and resilient. They learn that fear does not need to disappear before action begins. Instead, action itself slowly dissolves fear. As this realization becomes stronger, the path toward confidence becomes clearer, and the person who once felt uncertain begins to move through life with greater determination, self-trust, and a quiet but powerful sense of inner strength. Confidence grows strongest when a person learns to trust the process of gradual improvement. Many people expect immediate transformation when they decide to overcome fear, but real change often unfolds slowly through steady practice and patience. Every challenge faced, no matter how small, becomes a meaningful step toward building a stronger mindset. When someone repeatedly chooses action instead of hesitation, they begin to collect experiences that prove their capability. These experiences reshape how the mind interprets future situations. Instead of assuming that difficulty leads to failure, the mind begins to recognize that difficulty often leads to growth. This shift in perspective creates a powerful cycle. Action builds confidence. Confidence encourages more action, and each new experience reinforces the belief that fear does not have the final say. Inspired by ideas connected to the teachings of Dr. Joseph Murphy, many people discover that the thoughts they repeat most often gradually influence how they feel and behave. When someone consistently reminds themselves that they are capable of learning, improving, and adapting, the subconscious mind begins to accept these messages as reality. Over time, the internal voice that once produced doubt begins to soften, replaced by a more encouraging and supportive mindset. This transformation does not mean challenges disappear. Life will always present moments of uncertainty, unexpected obstacles, and situations that test personal strength. The difference is that a person who has practiced facing fear develops the resilience to handle those moments with calm determination. They learn to pause, gather their thoughts, and move forward step by step rather than allowing fear to dictate their decisions. One powerful way to support this growth is through intentional daily reflection. Taking a few moments at the end of each day to recognize small victories can reinforce the progress already made. Even a minor success, such as completing a task that once felt intimidating or speaking confidently in a conversation, deserves acknowledgement. These reflections remind the mind that progress is happening, even when it feels gradual. Many motivational ideas inspired by Dr. Joseph Murphy emphasize the importance of aligning thought, belief, and action. When these three elements work together, they create a strong foundation for lasting confidence. A person who believes in their ability to improve, visualizes positive outcomes, and takes consistent steps toward growth is actively training their mind for success. With time, these habits create a noticeable transformation in attitude and behavior. Situations that once caused anxiety begin to feel manageable, and challenges that once seemed impossible begin to appear achievable. The journey from fearful to fearless is not about becoming perfect or eliminating every moment of doubt. Instead, it is about developing the courage to continue moving forward, even when uncertainty remains. As this mindset strengthens, individuals begin to see themselves in a new light. They recognize their ability to learn from setbacks, adapt to change, and face life with greater confidence. Through patience, persistence, and belief in their own potential, they gradually create a life guided not by fear, but by determination, purpose, and inner strength.